Hello, I'm back. PatchOneStripe.com TV replacement parts. Your number one source for quality, hard to find replacement parts. Today, I want to go ahead and recap from a previous video pertaining to the repair of these Bose Wave systems. They are awesome. Unfortunately, Bose do not support the repair of these units anymore. So there's a lot of good units out there that simply need some maintenance, that can be refurbished, repaired, and stay in service, because they're some awesome radios. Of course, I've broken this one down just to the circuit boards. So what I want to do today is I just want to pretty much give an overview of what's going on with. I want to give you an overview of the components that's involved and the work that's necessary to repair, refurbish one of these units and keep it in service for a longer time to come in the future. Okay? Because this unit was made great. A lot of your manufacturers that produce high quality goods, what I find they all have in common is the simplicity of the robust item that they've manufactured. It's not complicated, it's simple. Okay, so now with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go on and get into this. So a lot of times what people will have, that the unit is playing, this is a symptom, and the CD player is either skipping, it'll stop like it's locking up, or you won't even see the disc. It'll give you some, error message about not even, basically not seeing the disc not playable. Okay, so first of all, what I do when I get one of these units, I change all of these metal electrolytic capacitors on this particular board. You got about 5 or 6 under this shield here. I change them all because 90% of them are found to have high series resistance, which is bad. That makes these bad. And so they was produced together new, they was in service together new. So I mean, what do you think? They're all going to deteriorate at the same speed. They're all going to go bad at the same speed. Okay, so here we are. So with that being said, it's the same thing with this main board back here. And I'm calling it main board only because it's a bigger board. This actually is the brains of the unit right here. This, you have the low voltage power supply that's over here, along with the transformer that's attached to the speaker unit. Right here, this is your audio output IC on this heat sink here. And you got a bunch of metal electrolytic capacitors in this area as well. This is your radio section. And here's your antenna. A lot of electrolytic capacitors in this area and all over here. Now what I've found consistently with all of these capacitors combined, 90% of them have high electronic series resistant values, which makes these capacitors bad. they're either bad or completely bad, like outrageously high resistance, or they suspect to be on the borderline, which to me, change them. Okay? So when I do a refurb job, I go in and I change all of them. I change all of them because I want to deliver a great job to my customers where, okay, because number one, I have to charge you. I'm going to charge you for my time and my expertise. But I want to be sure you get good value plus for that amount that I charge you to deliver that service. Okay? So I'm going to do it right. And this is another thing. When you lose voltage, well, you lose power, and you lose your memory. It don't hold memory anymore. This is also a capacitor that's used sort of like a battery for your memory. And it goes bad just like everything, all the other electrolytic capacitors, because it's an electrolytic capacitor as well. It goes bad as well and need to be replaced, so that if you have a power interruption or you unplug it to move it or whatever, you still got your time is correct, you got your memory for your channels, you got your alarm memories, you know, you don't have to go through that whole process of resetting that up every time the power is lost. Because these some awesome radios, you know, and CD players, because you might want to move them around. Hell, you can throw a party with this thing. Just, you know, you move it from your bedroom to the front, you got company. they awesome. So to stay on track here, this is what I use to test my capacitors, and it's an in-circuit ESR capacitor tester, and it's worth its weight in gold as well. Now you could have a regular capacitor tester and test them, and it may read the value or close to it, in which a lot of them will. But this bad boy here is taking it to another level. And if that resistance is too high on that capacitor, it is bad. So the beauty of this is you don't have to unsolder everything to test it. The other thing about it is it's accurate. And in most cases, when I'm troubleshooting, whether it's a television or anything electronics, I'm using this piece of equipment to test my capacitors, because it's going to take me straight to it. I don't have to swap in between, you know, test equipment then try to figure it out. She gonna be correct. Okay, so it's not that expensive. I highly recommend you get you one. If you're in this game and you're gonna be in it, you get you one. The ends of it is like this, so you just go on each side of the capacitor and you test it, and you'll get a reading. And when you do this unit here, I'd say up to 90% of them, they're going to be bad in the 90s. So you go ahead and change them. It's a little work. They got, you develop your technique, and they got other videos out there where guys will pretty much show you how you replace these, and it's pretty easy. It's no big tiny soldering job you got to do, nothing but reinstalling it, but to take it off, and it's pretty easy. They just twist them off. Okay, I may have demonstrated that in one of my other videos, maybe not, but it's more than one way to skin a cat. I did so many of them. I was introduced to this way of taking them off through another video, and it works great, time saving, slick, good. And I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do one for you, because a lot of time I do video and it's like, why you didn't show us? You know, but you know what? You're gonna have to put in some work if you want to be in this game, okay? But I'm gonna show you on this one. So check it out. You take some pliers like that, and then you twist it. Look, there it is. Hit a base down here. You got a white line over here. That's my negative, always. And what I do is, I go in there with the soldering iron and I heat this up to get that piece of lead that's left on there. See, you might can't see it, but it's on there. And I clean it up like that. Clean this other side up. See that piece? You can see that. Well, you might can't see it. See that piece on there? Maybe. So that's the pieces from the other capacitor, on the other side of the capacitor where the leads go. And a lot of times what I do is I'll go ahead and flow a little solder on here. See, I'll do that so I have it ready to go. And then the other one I have the leads back on it, and you set it in place, and you just heat the solder long enough for it to reflow and catch the bottom of the new replacement, and you're good to go. You're good to go. So I showed you that one. This is a unit I'm about to go ahead and do a refurb job on for a customer. That's why I went on ahead and snapped it off for you. But you know, you got delicate traces on some of this thing, and what I found is, if you get it all the way down to the base of it, be sure you're not knocking off no other components, and just do a twist, it'll come right on up. Okay? And this is what the important part about this. Okay? This is, okay, the CD player goes here, right? Okay, you see all these mechanical moving parts here, which is this the laser here, so you could get to the other side of it. See, it's sticking up right there, and you could clean your laser right through there. Okay, but the important part about this is I go back with metal electrolytic capacitors to replace the capacitors within this footprint right here. Okay, within this footprint right here, this area, because if you just, yes, it has the same value as your standard electrolytic capacitors. In most cases, they're taller, so that leaves you with the possibility of an obstruction of the movement of that CD unit. Okay, where it's sticking up so tall, so high, that it's getting into the path of the laser moving, and then it's causing you a fault, and then you wondering, well, what I did wrong, or I didn't do nothing wrong, or you go down the rabbit hole looking for it to be something else, a problem. The recap job, and that's what we call it when we replace all the capacitors. Like I said, you got some inside of there. Yes, I guarantee you it'll stop that CD player from skipping, and it'll play. But then you got probably about 25, 30 other little electrolytic capacitors back here that's bad. You know, they making it so far, but they're bad. On the verge of just complete failure and stopping the unit again. So I usually just recap them all. And I go back with these low ones right here, like I said, in this area right here, to keep them out of the moving mechanism, which is the laser on that CD player. Sometimes you get busy and you can recap them, and I just find that, and you find out that's fine to do regular electrolytic capacitors. Next thing you know, it's obstruction. You create an obstruction for the movement of the laser, so it's still not working. What we have on this board while we into it, I've already touched on this. I changed these for the memory. I put new, in most cases, a 0.33 microfarad capacitor, electrolytic. They ain't special made for this purpose. I replaced those for the memory. Here is your low voltage power supply. As you can see, you got your 4 diodes here, which makes up your bridge rectifier to transform your AC into DC to run the circuit. Now everywhere you see ICs, these components here, integrated circuits, under here you see the microprocessor, they don't run on AC, so it has to be converted. And that's called a low voltage power supply. And you got a step down transformer on the back of the speaker housing it breaks down from 120 volt AC down to lower value of AC in order to go to the bridge, through the bridge rectifier, to become a pulsating DC. And you got the capacitors to filter the DC out to make it clean. You got a little green device down there, and that's basically a fuse, a surface mount fuse. If you get a no power at all, I go back here and check that fuse. And I think I've crossed it to maybe like a 1.5 amp fuse, surface mount type. But one thing, remember this, one thing about a fuse blowing, and I tell everybody this, rectifiers blow fuses. So you want to be sure you got good bridge rectifiers here. Okay? Or just like transistors, they made of rectifiers, right? PNP, NPN, NPN. And then ICs could short. They have rectifiers internal in those. And this fuse, it's a safety device basically to protect the circuit. Alright? So I just described the no power issue right in this area right here. Okay? This right here, see this big heat sink? It's for your audio output amplifier. And it's an IC back here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's what that's all about. Now you see heat sinks like that, that means it get hot. So sometimes if you have something that's intermittent, if you catch it quick enough, you might just have some cracked circuits on the bottom of this board, on the pins on this audio amplifier, where it gets so hot. Hot, cold. It deteriorates the soldering from the component to the circuit board. You have what we call cracked circuits in this business. You got cracked circuits, just reflow the solder. So when you have different things going on with anything, electronics, whatever, you know, the quicker you catch it, the better. You know, it might save you some money. It might be something you could do yourself. Okay. This section right here, this is your radio. That's your radio circuit. See this wire coming over here? This is your antenna right here. So when you go and you check all these capacitors, these metal electrolytic capacitors, see they're all in the radio section. Replace them. Cause yeah, I could do something quick and get the CD player, and I'm gonna close it up. And the worst of it is, if you charging somebody to do a repair, well, yeah, you got it going and you're looking at the money you're gonna receive from the repair. If you don't do it completely, knowingly, from watching this video, that most of these capacitors back here need to be replaced, if not all of them. I mean, let's be honorable in this profession. You know, it helps everybody makes money. Good way. Let's be honorable. If you're gonna take it on, do it right, especially if you're gonna charge them. I think that's all I have with this. That's what it boiled down to over time. After you do so many of them, once you done recapped it, because you know this is gonna have to get done, and say it's still not seeing the disc. Well, the next thing you got to do is you need to replace this laser. It's most likely it's bad. They go bad as well. Okay, and you'll be able to find these on my site, along with some kits that I made up for this and some kits I made up for that. That board there as well. And I just want to share that with you. Throw that in there. I gotta put a plug in that for myself, right? Hey, that's what we do this for. We love it. We make money. And once you get into it, and this is another thing I want to tell you. When you're getting into this thing right here, and you want to take it apart, see this little screw right here? You take this screw out because your threads to follow this worm gear is attached to this plastic. Once you take this off, the head will slide wherever you want it to go. And make it easy for you to go ahead and take it off and replace it. But be careful, you don't want to lose this thing because you're going to need it on the next one. They don't come with them on there. And as far as dealing with the timing part of it, don't worry about the timing part. Because what Bose do with a system, it goes through a check before it starts. And it'll run this laser optics till it hit this switch. It's a micro switch right here. And that's called a home position. So once you get it in that, don't worry about where I gotta put it to make the timing right, all that. Don't worry about that. Just be sure you put it back in here right. Or should I say correctly? Okay? And when it does its check, it's gonna run it. And when it hit this micro switch here, it's gonna know it's home. It's ready to go. See, all that smart engineering when they made these things. That's why it's really important to go ahead and repair them. They'll go for a long time. They will go for a long time. All right? And another thing I want to tell you while we having a conversation, the display, it'll go bad. So don't rule that out. What I'd do, I'd probably use the remote and just hit the button from the beginning, or I'd put a CD in there, not knowing if it's on or off, and if it take the CD and start doing something, maybe playing, well, you might have a bad display. I have those on my site as well, okay? And not at the time in this video, this is January 2024. But I have everything set up, and I'll have them on the site within the next 30 days. But if you need something, just contact me, and we'll work it out if I hadn't made it to put them on there yet. Because I got a lot of things be going on, okay? I think I've given you guys the game on this thing here, where we've kind of shrunk this elephant down. Be honorable about your repairs and make some money with it. I'd like to send a shout out. I'm going to say Tony D, my GS, you know, Papa Gotchi, you know the deal. My guy. And with that being said, that's a shout out to him. patchonestripe.com, your #1 source for quality TV parts. And look like we're gonna be doing a little Bose stuff here. Give us a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Do all those things. And with that being said, patchonestripe.com. And it's like all the time, I got some other things I need to go do. I got to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by. We out of here.